ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا. Oh my creator, oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah. Forgive our sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Oh Allah, the most gracious. Ya wasi'al karami.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of a new program that is known by the Signs of the Hour. And this is a live show, which means that we can interact, you can ask your questions, but because the topic is so vast and huge, and we have only 5 days a week during the month of Ramadan, inshallah, starting from today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of every week during the month of Ramadan. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue in the last 10 nights of Ramadan or not. This is still a bit vague to me. But because the topic is too vast, we will open the lines for your calls if there are any questions regarding the topic or something that is related to it. If, inshallah, you have questions, the phone lines will be dedicated after half an hour or 24 minutes, that is, from now. So at 5:30, at 3:30 local time, Saudi time, inshallah, we will be taking your calls if you have any questions to ask. The signs of the hour. Why is it so important that we would dedicate a program for it? Don't we have a lot of more important things to discuss? Well, first of all, you all know that there are 5 pillars of Islam, and there are 6 pillars of Iman, of belief. And one of the pillars of belief is to believe in the day of resurrection. So what does that mean? It means that you have to believe that there will come a day that Allah Azza wa Jal would bring all those whom He had created and hold them accountable for what they had done in this life. And anything that is related to the hereafter, anything that is related to the day of judgment or the day of resurrection or the hour, anything that is related to it, it is part of this pillar, the belief in the day of judgment. So when we talk about the signs of the hour, when we talk about the blowing in the trumpet, which annihilates all living creatures, and the blow of the trumpet again, when every creature would be resurrected, and it is the day of reckoning. When we talk about the resurrection, about the gathering of the creation, all the creatures in one open plaza, and they would be displayed to Allah Azza wa Jal. When we talk about being held accountable, when we talk about the scales and how Allah Azza wa Jal would weigh deeds, would weigh individuals, would weigh their records, and these scales have a tongue that speaks with it, and it has eyes that looks with it. When we talk about the sirat and the path that all the Muslims and the hypocrites as well would have to pass over, and it is erected or it is found on top of hell. So whoever passes is saved, and whoever doesn't falls into hell. When we talk about paradise, heavens, and we talk about hell, all of what governs these issues, this is part of the belief in the day of resurrection. And because it's important, Allah Azza wa Jal has mentioned it in the Quran and in the Sunnah. And so many times you find in the Quran those who believe in Allah and the day of judgment or the day of resurrection. The Prophet so many times tells us, alayhi salatu wasalam, it is not permissible for a woman who believes in Allah and the day of judgment to travel without a mahram. So many hadith, whoever believes in Allah and in the day of judgment, he should say good things or refrain from talking. He should honor his guest. He should not harm his neighbor. So the Prophet, so many hadiths connects the day of judgment and the belief of it to the belief in Allah Azza wa Jal. And a Muslim, and when we talk about a Muslim, I'm not mentioning those who are not practicing. When we say a Muslim, we mean a Muslim who is practicing, who is adhering to the instructions of the Quran and Sunnah, who is living Islam. When you see him, you think that this is Islam reincarnated, in the sense that whatever he does, it relates to Islam. And whatever he refrains from, it goes against Islam. So you have to know exactly what do we mean when we say a Muslim. So when you look at a Muslim, you find that his life is different than any other human being. Because the things that govern his life are limited. Yet his perception of life is unlimited, neither by time nor by place. A Muslim believes that this world we're living in is a temporary phase, 60 years, 80 years, 100 years at most, and then you're going to die. But your death inaugurates your eternal life. So we look at this life as a transient life. It is passing by. It is not a place for us to stay. It's like a person traveling 1,000 miles, and after 100 miles, he goes into a gas station, fills his car up, buys a sandwich, and moves on. No one, once he pulls at a gas station, no one would start to erect a building and to reside there, because this is just a station. So a Muslim, he looks at this life in such a fashion. Time-wise and also location-wise, this world we're living in is so limited, it's so small. My objective as a Muslim is a paradise that Allah Azza wa Jal promised those who do well and believe in Him and follow the Prophet ﷺ. This paradise, Allah told us that the width of it is like the heavens and the earth. And Allah did not disclose to us how long it is. So if the width is as big as the heavens and the earth, then this is definitely a place that we want to be in, and we know that it would satisfy all the things that we were patient and tolerated on this life. This is different to someone who does not believe in the Day of Judgment. And when I say someone who does not believe in the Day of Judgment, this might be because he is a non-Muslim, or his belief does not excel and does not reach the level that the Quran and the Sunnah tell us to be. So you could have a Muslim, but not a practicing Muslim. And his belief in the Day of Judgment is very little, and that is portrayed in how he acts and behaves in his life. Therefore, your belief in the Day of Judgment varies. You have people who know for sure and they're certain of the presence of the Day of Judgment, and that is why you find it showing in every single thing they do in their lives. And you have someone who is medium rare. He does things that go in accordance to his belief of the Day of Judgment, such as praying, fasting, maybe he does some charity work, but at the same time, he is so indulged in lusts and desires that as if he thinks that he's living forever and there is no accountability. And there are those who do not believe in the Day of Judgment altogether. So they live their lives in chaos. And this is so much different than a proper practicing Muslim. The way they look at things is different. The weight and the scale that a Muslim weigh things is different than the other who do not believe in the day of judgment. Muslims fear the punishment of Allah and they hope for the reward and the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. So that is why they always balance. They do well and they stay away from what is not good. And you can see this portrayed in a Muslim's way of life. Whenever calamities fall upon him, whenever there are tribulations, you will see his steadfast on Islam. You will see his strength of Iman. You will see his tolerance and being patient when calamities strike, because he knows that Allah Azza wa Jal, the Almighty, is the one who rewards. And he knows that what Allah Azza wa Jal has stored for us is much better than this life that we live in. And the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, in an authentic hadith, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ. So strange and wonderful the affairs of the believer. When he's struck by a calamity, he is patient and he praises Allah, and this is good for him. And when he's struck by favors and blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal, he is grateful and he praises Allah Azza wa Jal, and this is good for him, and this is only for